After the second Outward game was announced a few days ago, now would be the right moment to play the first part in case you haven't done it so far, or to possibly remind yourself of everything in the game in case you have already played it. In my previous video, I tried to show you everything we know so far about the new upcoming sequel, and in this video we will go a little bit deeper in some most important segments and see is the first Outward game worth playing in 2024. But before we start guys, a quick reminder, in case you want to support my work and the channel in general, the best way to do that is by pressing subscribe and bell buttons. It will take a moment of your time, but on the other side, it will mean a lot. Now, first Outward game was developed by 9 Studio and published by Deep Silver. 9 Studio is an indie game developer based in Canada, and it was founded in 2011, initially focused on creating educational games before shifting its focus to larger scale projects. The development of Outward began in 2015 with a small team working on the game's concept and core mechanics. The team aimed to create a unique RPG experience that emphasized player agency, survival elements, and cooperative gameplay. One of the defining aspects of Outward's development was the studio's commitment to creating a challenging and immersive experience without hand-holding or traditional RPG tropes like a hero saving the world. The game was designed to be unforgiving at times, requiring players to carefully plan their actions and adapt to the harsh world. One really great thing 9 did was their community-driven development approach, involving players in the development process through early access and gathering feedback to improve the game's mechanics, balance and overall experience. Now, when it comes to story, the story in Outward is set in the fantasy world of Ori, a harsh and unforgiving land filled with magic, ancient ruins and dangerous creatures. Players take on the role of a customizable protagonist who embarks on a journey of survival, exploration and adventure. Now, unlike many other games out there, in Outward you don't have a predetermined character, nor your character is some kind of hero who needs to save the world etc. Actually, Outward takes a refreshing approach by casting you as an ordinary individual struggling to survive. Now, aside, let's say, poor main storyline, there is a tons of really interesting side quests. Plus to that, there are faction quests which complete the overall story experience in the game. So there are 3 playable factions in the game, each offering unique storylines, quests and benefits. Each faction offers a distinct playstyle and narrative experience, shaping the player's journey and interactions within the world of Ori. Choosing a faction influences quest lines, alliances and available resources, adding depth and replayability to Outward storytelling. The Blue Chamber Collective is a mercantile faction focused on trade and prosperity. They value wealth, knowledge and maintaining stability in Ori. Joining the Blue Chamber Collective introduces players to quests centered around commerce, diplomacy and uncovering ancient secrets related to trade routes and artifacts. Members of Blue Chamber gain access to merchants offering unique goods, discounts and purchases, and opportunities to profit from trading endeavors. They also have access to specialized skills and abilities related to commerce and negotiations. The Blue Chamber has a neutral stance, seeking to maintain relations with other factions for mutual benefits, rather than engaging in open conflict. The Heroic Kingdom of Levant is a militaristic faction known for its martial prowess, honor and dedication to protecting Ori from external threats. Joining Levant leads player into quests focused on combat training, military campaigns against enemies like bandits and monsters, and upholding the kingdom's honor and traditions. Members of Levant gain access to elite warriors, advanced combat training and powerful equipment suited for battle. They also receive bonuses to combat-related skills and abilities. Levant has a competitive relationship with other factions, often seeking to prove its strength and dominance on the battlefield while maintaining alliances based on mutual defense. The Holy Mission of Elat is a religious faction dedicated to spiritual growth, redemption and spreading the teachings of Elat, the god of light and righteousness. Joining the Holy Mission leads players into quests focused on faith, redemption and confronting the dark forces threatening Ori. Players may engage in missionary work, purging heresy and exploring ancient religious sites. Members of Holy Mission gain access to divine magic, healing abilities and support-focused skills. They also receive bonuses to spiritual and moral abilities, enhancing their resilience against dark influences. The Holy Mission seeks alliances based on shared religious belief and the fight against darkness. They may clash with factions promoting chaos, corruption, or heretical beliefs. Each faction offers a distinct playstyle and narrative experience, shaping the journey and interactions within the world of Ori. Now, when it comes to character creation segment of the game, no matter how much I love Outward game, I must be completely honest. Creating your protagonist in Outward is the worst, the ugliest shit I have ever seen in my entire life. Come on guys, no matter how hard you try, at the end your character in the game will be ugly as fuck. For me personally, character creation is really important. It doesn't matter the fact I will wear armor and helmet through all game. I like spending huge amount of time just by creating my character. I understand that there are many of you out there who can easily ignore this part of the game, and if you skip character creation in Outward, you won't find much more lags in the game. The leveling system in Outward differs from traditional RPGs in that it doesn't use a conventional experience point system with levels. Instead, character progression is primarily based on skill development, equipment upgrades, and player choices. This is really interesting, and I like this approach to leveling. Skills are separated into two sections, basic and advanced. You can learn basic skills of all trainers, but to learn advanced skills you need to spend a breakthrough point. You only get 3 per game and this number cannot be increased, so you can only max out 3 trainers out of 8, so be very careful with spending those. Anyway, let's see what are the 8 playable classes or trainers in the base game. The Kazite Spellblade is a unique class in Outward that combines martial prowess with elemental magic, making them versatile combatants capable of dealing both physical and magical damage. The Kazite Spellblade excels in melee combat, wielding a variety of weapons such as swords, axes, maces and spears. They are proficient in both one-handed and two-handed weapon styles, allowing for flexibility in combat tactics. Unlike traditional warriors, the Spellblade harnesses the power of elemental magic to augment their attacks and abilities. This allows them to imbue their weapons with elemental damage, cast offensive spells, and enhance their combat prowess with magical effects. The Kazite Spellblade's playstyle revolves around versatility, adaptability, and resource management. Balancing melee combat with spellcasting requires strategic decision-making in combat situations. Players can switch between melee attacks and spells seamlessly, exploiting enemy weaknesses and adjusting tactics based on the situation. Overall, the Kazite Spellblade offers a dynamic and engaging playstyle that combines the best of melee combat and elemental magic. The Mercenary is a versatile and adaptable class in Outward, specializing in combat prowess, survival skills, and versatility in various situations. Same like the Kazite, Mercenaries are skilled fighters proficient in a wide range of weapons, including swords, axes, maces, spears and also firearms. Unlike the Kazite, Mercenary have more stamina. Also their playstyle revolves around pistol, and they have some really cool abilities related to this weapon. On the other side, when it comes to choosing between 2 post-breakthrough skills, if you decide to go with the pistol, you will be able to get Blood Bullet skill, which will allow you to actually heal yourself by absorbing enemy's life into your pistol as a Blood Bullet. But if you decide to stick with the Sword and Shield, the Shield Infusion is must-have skill. This skill will allow you to block an elemental attack, and after that, your next block will do an elemental explosion. Overall, the Mercenary class offers a dynamic and rewarding gameplay experience, combining combat prowess, survival skills, and adaptability to excel in diverse situations. The Kabal Hermit or the Shaman is a unique class that blends mystical abilities with survival skills, making them adept at both combat and exploration. Kabal Hermits harness the power of ancient magic and arcane knowledge, allowing them to cast potent spells and manipulate mystical energies. Kabal Hermit excel in a ranged combat, utilizing spells and magical projectiles to engage enemies from a distance. They can cast offensive spells, apply debuffs, and control battlefield with AoE attacks. In melee combat, Kabal Hermits are proficient with staff weapons, allowing them to channel magical energies into devastating strikes, stuns and disorients. They can also summon spectral allies or conjure protective barriers to aid in combat. Kabal Hermits rely on mana as a resource for casting spells. Managing mana efficiently is crucial, requiring strategic use of spells, potion buffs and passive abilities to sustain magical onslaughts. The Philosopher is a really interesting class to play the way of magic in Outward, and also a class that uses one really cool weapon type, the Chakrams. Chakrams can be used only in offhands, and with some cool Chakram abilities you can make Philosopher one hell of a mage. If you like daggers, backstabbing and fast dodging, then the Rogue Engineer is the perfect for you. First skill in this skill tree tells you everything. Backstab is a dagger attack that if it hits enemy from behind, the damage and the impact are tripled. Beside backstab, there are also stealth training, which will allow you to be harder spotted by the enemies, feather dodge, which will lower your stamina cost by 50%, and play training, which will allow you to deploy the complex pressure play traps. The Rogue Engineer offers a really interesting and fast gameplay, combining stealth, fast combat moves, dodging and strategizing with traps. Now, if you like to deal damage from a distance, but you are not a fan of casting spells, then this class is definitely for you. When using bow, Wild Hunter have some cool and powerful skills that will allow you to take down enemies easily and also keep your distance from them. Evasion Shot, for example, will allow you to shoot an arrow while jumping backwards, dealing damage and keeping your distance at the same time. It also causes the cripple status effect on the target, which is really good. Hunter have only one passive skill, and that is Hunter's Eye. This passive skill allows you to lock on enemies at longer distances when using bow. You will need this passive skill if you want the Sniper Shot skill, which is a very strong arrow shot, especially when you want to start combat with it. There are also skills if you want to play a little with your melee weapon, and also there is Survivor's Resilience, which increases your maximum health by 40. Rune Sage is really interesting to play because it will actually allow you to summon weapons, place arcane traps and much more by combining runes. Anyway, any rune does nothing on its own, but combining it with other rune will allow you to cast some awesome spells. You will also be able to get the mana increasing skill or to cast more powerful combos. This one is a really interesting trainer to play, and while maybe look difficult at the beginning, once you figure it out, you will have tons of fun later in the game. If you want to stick with only melee weapons in the game, then you should go with Warrior Monk. So besides some powerful skills that will allow you to do some good damage, there are also stamina increasing skill and slow metabolism skill, which will allow you to be without food, water or sleep for much more time. There are a couple more trainers that was added in 2 Outward DLCs, and those are Hex Mage and Speedster in the Soroboreans DLC and the Primal Ritualist, Weapon Master and Specialist in the Three Brothers DLC. Hex Mage, as the name says, uses hexes and focuses on blood magic to harm enemies. If you choose to go this way, you will find some really cool skills with some blood magic. Speedster bringing a new mechanic to the game called the Alertness. The main skill that stacks the alertness is Probe. When you successfully hit enemy, it will raise the alertness and also the skill damage. There are also skills in this skill tree that will increase your stamina and corruption resistance and overall survivability in the game. Primal Ritualist is a really interesting build whose gameplay revolves around totems. You can place totems on the ground to apply buffs or debuffs. Plus to that, every time you hit the totem, it applies some effect, like sending projectiles to nearest enemy for example. When it comes to gameplay, first and foremost, Outward stands out with its emphasis on realism and survival mechanics. Unlike many RPGs where your character is a heroic figure from the start, Outward puts you in the shoes of an ordinary adventurer facing the harsh realities of a dangerous and unpredictable world. This means you will need to manage your resources carefully, plan your journey and make smart decisions to survive. One of the defining features of Outward is its lack of hand-holding and reliance on player skill and strategy. There are no quest markers or map indicators pointing you in the right direction. Instead, you will rely on landmarks, dialogue cues and your own sense of exploration to navigate the vast and diverse landscapes. This creates a sense of discovery and adventure as you uncover hidden secrets, encounter diverse cultures and unravel the mysteries of the world. The game's dynamic weather system and day-night cycle further enhance the immersion. You'll need to adapt to changing weather conditions, which can affect your visibility, movement speed and overall survival. Traveling during the day may be safer, but venturing out at night can lead to unique encounters and opportunities. But remember, during the night it can be really dark. And when I say really dark, I mean you won't be able to see shit. When it comes to world and exploration, let's say something about Ori first. It's a beautifully crafted and diverse world filled with lush forests, arid deserts, snowy mountains and ancient ruins waiting to be explored. The attention to detail in the world design makes each region feel unique and alive, with its own ecosystem, wildlife and hidden secrets. The world of Outward is teeming with life and activity. You will encounter various factions, tribes and settlements, each with its own culture, beliefs and quests. Interacting with NPCs can lead to new opportunities, alliances or conflicts, adding depth to your exploration and shaping the narrative of your journey. One of the standout features of exploration in Outward is the sense of danger and consequences. Venturing into uncharted territories or dark dungeons can be perilous, with deadly creatures, traps and environmental hazards waiting to test your skills. Also, as I already mentioned, the game's dynamic weather system and day-night cycle will heavily impact the exploration. Weather conditions like rain, snow and storms affect visibility, movement speed and survival, adding another layer of realism and immersion. Overall, exploration in Outworld is a deeply satisfying and immersive experience that rewards curiosity and courage. Whether you are uncovering ancient ruins, forging alliances with factions, or surviving the perils of the wild, every step of your journey in the world of Ori is filled with wonder, danger and adventure. Now, one of the most important segments of an action RPG for many of you guys is combat. Combat in Outworld is not your typical hack and slash affair. It's a challenging and tactical experience that requires skill, strategy and adaptability. Every encounter is a test of your abilities, forcing you to think on your feet and make split-second decisions. One of the key elements of combat in Outworld is its realism. You won't find flashy combos or overpowered abilities here. Instead, combat is grounded in physics and logic, where weapon weight, timing and positioning play crucial roles. This actually creates a sense of weight and impact to each attack, making every swing of your weapon or block of your shield feel meaningful. Weapon choice also plays a significant role in combat. Each weapon type has its own unique moveset, range, speed and impact. Whether you prefer the swift strikes of a sword, the crashing blows of a mace, or precision of a bow, your choice of weapon will heavily influence your combat style and approach. Defensive tactics are just important as offensive maneuvers. Blocking, dodging and parrying are essential skills that can mean the difference between victory and defeat. Knowing when to defend, when to strike and when to retreat is key to surviving tough encounters. One of the standout features of combat in Outworld is its dynamic and unpredictable nature. Enemies come in various shapes and sizes, each with its own strengths, weaknesses and attack patterns. From agile predators to towering beasts and cunning humanoids, you'll face a diverse array of foes that keep you on your toes and require different strategies to overcome. Another aspect that adds depth to combat is the game's injury and status effect system. Taking damage can lead to injuries that affects your movement, stamina and combat effectiveness. Additionally, status effects like poison, burning and bleeding can stack up and pose serious threats if not managed carefully. Now, don't let this scare you and turn you away from the game. Although it sounds difficult and challenging, I am more than sure you'll be able to get used to it really fast. Yes, combat in Outworld is a thrilling and dynamic experience that balances realism with gameplay depth. And yes, it can be difficult very often, but on the other side, it can be really interesting and satisfying. Outworld have 2 DLCs which add a lot of content, game time and new features to the base game. The Soroboreans is the first DLC and it introduces players to the enigmatic faction known as the Soroboreans. This faction brings with it a host of new NPCs, quests and storytelling that delve into the lore and mysteries of the Soroborian society. Players can expect to encounter intriguing characters, each with their own motivations, secrets and quests that unravel the history and secrets of the Soroborians. These quests often lead to unexpected twists, moral dilemmas and choices that impact the game world. Besides that, with the Soroboreans DLC, you will gain access to a new region to explore within the game world. One notable addition is the bustling city of Levant, known for its vibrant markets, diverse population and rich cultural heritage. This DLC also introduces players with new volcanic area called Caldera. One of the major gameplay additions in this DLC is the enchantment system. This system allows players to imbue their weapons and armor with powerful magical effects. This is actually a great feature because it adds new layer of customization and strategy to combat, as players can tailor their gear to suit different situations and playstyles. Besides the enchantment system, the corruption mechanic is introduced in Soroborian DLC. This mechanic offers players the ability to gain powerful dark powers, but with a cost. Managing corruption adds a strategic element to gameplay, as players must weigh the benefits of enhanced abilities against the potential drawbacks and consequences. When it comes to second DLC, The Three Brothers, this DLC opens up the distant lands of Caldera, home to 3 distinct brotherly factions, the Blue Chamber Collective, the Heroic Kingdom of Levant and the Holy Mission of Elat. Beside new region, farming is introduced as a new gameplay mechanic, allowing players to cultivate crops, raise livestock and manage their own farms. This adds a new layer of immersion and economy to the game, as players can grow food, harvest resources and trade with NPCs. Also, Brewing Spirit is another new feature. This feature will allow you to craft potent beverages with various effects, from healing and buffing to providing temporary boost and resistance. With both DLCs, beside new zones, new specific features and new quest lines, there are also new challenges, new enemies and some new bosses, and also some new specific rewards. Sound in the game is so good, from environmental soundscapes that bring the game world to life, with attention to detail in environmental sound design that creates a sense of immersion, making players feel like they are truly exploring a living, breathing world, through sound effects that play a crucial role in providing feedback and information during gameplay, to the music and soundtrack in the game, which are, by the way, so awesome. The overall sound and ambience in Outward contribute significantly to the immersive and atmospheric experience. Plus, the attention to audio detail enhances storytelling, gameplay immersion, and player engagement, making every moment in Outward a captivating and memorable experience for players. In conclusion, Outward is a remarkable and immersive action RPG that offers a unique and challenging experience. Beside the fact that this game will test your skill and patience, it also offers a truly satisfying journey through an amazingly beautiful world. Huge thanks to my first Patreon, Raw Firefly. Thank you for your support, and it's a pleasure to have you in our small gaming family. Like on this video would be super appreciated so it can reach more people, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the upcoming videos. I hope you enjoyed, guys. That will be all, and I'll see you in the next one.